The Mercedes W14 is a flawed concept which has been compounded by development problems over the winter, with the start of the season confirming that Mercedes was following the wrong path. And now, we have news coming out from Mercedes, revealing much bigger problems back at the factory, which has led to the W14 being an uncompetitive package. Mercedes' 2023 season has been disappointing so far, with even Aston Martin, a customer team that takes almost its entire rear end from Mercedes, notably being faster than the works team. Mercedes are the only team pursuing the narrow side pods concept, which could be justified only by one reason. In the last 4 races of 2022, the W13 was quite close to the RB18, which must have given the Silver Arrows a false positive about the potential of their concept. Every concept has a development ceiling, and teams are able to find out that ceiling through testing in the wind tunnel accompanied with CFD analysis. But it seems though the Silver Arrows have not been able to identify that ceiling properly over the winter break, and it has been due to very troublesome reasons. The W14 has made some progress since its challenging early pre-season testing, but it still struggles to generate enough downforce in medium and high-speed corners. Both races in Jeddah and Bahrain exposed this weakness of the W14. We lack downforce, especially at the rear. The more stable that part of the car becomes, the more comfortable I will feel driving the W14, Lewis Hamilton has explained. George Russell has given similar comments, explaining that our weakness is simply the lack of downforce, but we've definitely taken a step in the right direction. The positive steps George Russell is referring to are partly thanks to a floor update Mercedes introduced in Saudi Arabia. You probably would have seen Mercedes testing the diffuser area of the W14 using floor vis paint during the practice sessions at Jeddah. According to reports, the Jeddah upgrade package is worth about 1/10 per lap, but the W14 is about a second per lap slower when compared with the RB19, which is a huge gap to close. The concerns surrounding the W14 have been clear for some time now. George Russell and Lewis Hamilton are even aware of these during pre-season testing, that the first version of the W14 hadn't fully satisfied Mercedes technicians in Brackley. When the team returned to Brackley after the Bahrain GP, there was a long meeting where all the technical management was questioned, including the technical director, Mike Elliott. Toto Wolff has now shared his ideas about the troublesome W14 after the discussions that has taken place. He was clear to acknowledge that the decision to pursue the team's unique concept was wrong, and mentioned that the team has to focus long-term to take the fight to Red Bull. Last year, we designed the W13 to run as low as possible, which was wrong. This year we thought it was too high, but now we think we know what the optimal height is, Toto has explained. After Bahrain, we had discussions about planning our future. In the short term, we will struggle to find further performance. Longer term, we will focus our development on trying to take Red Bull, said Toto Wolff. We needed to have confirmation that we went in the wrong direction for development in the winter. Now we have it. Toto Wolff and Andrew Shovlin talked about making radical changes to the W14 to improve its competitiveness in the pecking order. But Formula Uno has reported on what really went wrong for Mercedes. And honestly, these are amateurish mistakes made by the technical team, which has led to this situation. And Mercedes have fired the engineering staff responsible for making this mistake. The team has carried out a full inspection within the Brackley factory, through scans in both the scale models used in the tunnel and in the real ones, and the end results are shockingly embarrassing. It has emerged that some parts used in the wind tunnel, the scale models to be exact, were inaccurate parts and went beyond the necessary parameters. The team tested parts in the wind tunnel that didn't correlate to the actual car itself. We actually heard in the early part of this year that there were parts of the W14 that were getting redesigned, and there was some delays and some issues with correlation. It is basically what it does in the simulator and what it does in the wind tunnel, and then what it does on track actually should be the same. And in the case of Mercedes, the 3 phases did not correlate, and there were some delays about that over the winter period. The reason why apparently is because some parts used in the wind tunnel at the scale models, and certain elements were apparently inaccurate and went beyond the necessary parameters. Therefore, whatever they built and put in the wind tunnel wasn't the same as what they are actually testing in the simulator and intending to be bringing to the real car. That is quite a big mistake, to be honest, because it nearly put the entire winter brakes development project in the bin, and Mercedes has fired the staff members responsible for this mistake. Toto Wolff did mention on his team finding massive gains in the wind tunnel recently. The correction of the issue within the team's factory confirms on how they were able to see such gains in a short period of time. But that one mistake in the wind tunnel is going to ruin the Silver Arrow's entire season for sure. But to make up the lost development, Mercedes has ramped up development work in recent weeks. In addition to innovations that will concern aerodynamics, including the side pods, as already mentioned by Mercedes, there will also be mechanical and, most significantly, cooling changes. It is reported that Mercedes have a new chassis in the works, but they are not able to bring it to this year's car due to the budget cap. This new chassis maybe is something the team has come up with after correcting the issues with the scale models and other facilities. But it is not coming this year, and it won't be a part of the radical changes the team is intending to make to the W14. In this respect, a new chassis will only be introduced with the W15 2024. One question all Mercedes fans will have in mind is, can Mercedes actually win a race this season by improving the W14? Well, it's only 2 out of 23, and Mercedes are confident of the gains they are witnessing in the wind tunnel. But Red Bull are a league ahead, and catching up to them would be a tall order. But I believe that Mercedes would definitely be able to clinch P2 in the Constructors, which could mark a step forward for the Silver Arrows. But what do you guys think? What do you think of the mistake Mercedes has made in terms of development through the winter break? Can Mercedes recover from this position and take the fight to Red Bull? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section down below. We'd love to discuss it with you. And on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads to keep yourselves up to date about the 2023 Formula 1 season.